In today's video, we're going to be talking about the first people of America. People used to live in 3 continents: Africa, Europe, and Asia. However, there were also some people called hunter-gatherers. Hunter-gatherers is a term for people who follow huge amounts of herds of animals. Basically, this animal started migrating north, so the people migrated north along with them. And eventually these guys went all the way to the tip of Russia over here. And so did the hunter-gatherers. When these animals crossed, then they did too. But wait, how did they cross? I thought Russia and Alaska were split. Well, actually, at the start of human civilization, there was a period called the Ice Age. The Ice Age is basically where the sea level dropped and most of the water was coming to glaciers. Now the Ice Age is over. It ended about 10,000 years ago. But anyway, because of the Ice Age, the sea level dropped, exposing new land to the air. This land allowed the animals and people to walk from one continent, the end of Russia, to the other continent, the beginning of Alaska, which is in North America. And that is how people made it from this part, from these 3 continents to these 2 continents.
So right now, Alaska and Russia are separated and there's no ice in the middle. It'll take about 55 miles to get from Alaska to Russia or Russia to Alaska. What is between Alaska and Russia? Right now, there's this sea called Beringia Sea that separates Alaska and Russia. But a long time ago, that Beringia Sea was covered with ice. And people were able to cross from Russia all the way to Alaska. And here's a model. There are people going from Russia all the way to Alaska. The water that separates 2 land masses is called a strait, and that's our key term to understand. And here is a strait. People came from Russia all the way to Beringia, and then when they went to Alaska, they started to settle in Canada, US, Mexico, Central America, and South America.
Here's a map for better understanding. So these people, they moved from Asia, they moved all the way to the Beringia. And then once they crossed Beringia, they went to all sorts of places. As you can see, the arrow shows where they went.
So the Native Americans moved to a different region is they went there for food, and they also came for land and space and farming. So a large number of people moving from one place to another is called migration. So like take this, you're from Texas and you want to go to New York, but you're the only one going to New York. That's not called migration. If there's tons of people going from Texas to New York, that's called migration.
So how are scientists able to prove to us that Native Americans moved from Russia to Alaska? Well, here's how. There's 2 ways scientists were able to prove this. One is through DNA testing and the other is through trading. First, let's start with the simple one, trading. Basically, what happened is because the Beringia Strait lasted for some time, people who lived near the Beringia Strait or people in Alaska were able to trade with people who lived in Eastern Asia. They changed a lot of things like helmets and pots. Therefore, when archaeologists came around, they saw that there were similar pots in Native American homes and similar pots and face masks in Asian homes. So they could connect that probably these guys are the same people. And another way scientists found out is through DNA testing. Anthropologists, or people who study ancient people and their civilizations, anthropologists use DNA testing to see if Native Americans and Asians had similar DNA. They did it and turns out they matched. This is how they were able to find out and come to a theory that people from Beringia moved from Eastern Asia to Western North America. And these are some facts of first Native Americans.
So I will put ice to make it like glacier.
So basically we have some ice and we're going to be using we're going to be using Play-Doh to express the 2 landforms. The yellow one's Beringia, this one is Asia, this one's America. Now, because in the north, because it was really cold, filled with lots of glaciers, we're going to be using ice to represent that. So there was basically an ice bridge formed and people traveled. Once the ice melted, which is about like 10,000 years ago, the land submerged underwater because all the glaciers were now starting to melt as the ice age was over. Therefore, this led to an excess amount of water being released. This excess amount of water needed to go somewhere, and they submerged over many parts of land. So if you see something like shallow shores, they used to be once land that were near coastlines.
We're also going to be doing how the ice will be melting and how the land is going to cover underwater.